Anyhow, just before we get started, I want to let you know that I do kind of have spotty Wi-Fi because I live kind of nowhere. So if I do drop you, I will be back very shortly. Just give me a couple seconds to catch up. And today I am working on this Asian quilt. Now, if you missed the video the other week, I actually made this quilt out of my favorite fabric that I had to cut up. It was really hard to do, from the Quilters Challenge that I'm participating in with a bunch of other YouTubers. So it's time to quilt it. Now, I didn't make this quilt, so it's mine. That's different. I did make this quilt for my 20-year-old daughter, so she wanted me to custom quilt it, but I'm gonna be quilting it at more of a bed density. She doesn't want it to be too stiff. And another thing to note is I also have used a blanket as a backing. So you can kind of see it's one of these sort of fuzzier blankets that you can buy at those box stores. She wanted a fuzzy backing, and I don't have a fabric store anywhere nearby, so that's what I had to use. And let's go down to the machine and get quilting. Hello from Germany. Hello from Germany. Or hello from Canada, sorry. I'm just so excited. All right. So I have put the machine, I have put the quilt, I've stitched it down, I've basted it. I'm just gonna get you set up here. There we go. Looking pretty good. Hello from Nebraska, hello. So I can't always see the comments. Sometimes they pop up when I am looking at the screen, but they disappear. So if I do miss your comment, I'm so sorry. Alabama, Spokane, okay, cool. Oh, I'm so happy to see everybody today. All right, so I'm gonna hit the lights. That's why I always have to do these lives at this particular time in the day, because I actually quilt with all the lights off so you can see like all the really good relief. But we've got a really cloudy day today, so it's a little bit extra dark. Because it is kind of extra dark, I might have to turn the light on a little bit, like when I'm doing some ditch work. So I do have a plan for this quilt, and I'll be honest with you, it actually took me quite a bit of time to come up with a plan. Oh, Wyoming, Indiana, Arizona. Oh my goodness, everybody's here today. All right, I gotta see where I'm going here for a second. So anyways, I did come up with a plan for this quilt, but it took me quite a while to come up with it. I'm going to be using some curved rulers today. And I did pin a couple messages. I'm going to talk a little bit about the design, but I do have a whole course on like how I come up with designs, because I can't just cover everything all the time, right? So that's in the pinned messages. Anyhow. Okay, so, and I am working pretty close to the edge here with this big ruler. You can notice if you did watch the video before, this is like a Asian inspired fabric. It's got like this beautiful gold veining, and it's a bunch of like herons and stuff, and it's just gorgeous fabric. It's my favorite. So my daughter and I were talking about design, and we were thinking, okay, we want to do a lotus. So that's why I'm going to be using these curved rulers. Oh, I forgot to turn the light off again. So I'm going to be doing sort of a lotus design in here. Is my plan. So I am going to be using two different sizes of rulers to do this, though. So I've got the Quilted Pineapple 10 and the Quilted Pineapple 8. Oh, it's hailing outside. All right, there's kind of a storm happening, so... Anyways, and then I'm going to be using my Rocket ruler from Silly Moon Quilt Company as well. And I have pre-marked the marks that I'm stitching to. And I always pre-mark my quilts before I get them loaded onto the machine. But like the whole idea behind this design is not to be too dense, because she wants to snuggle on the couch with it. Because I'm quilting with this blanket here, I am running a little bit into my clamps, and that's because I'm trying not to put too much tension on this blanket. When you quilt with these like stretchy sort of blankets, and I hope you know which ones I'm talking about, you want to not have as much tension as you normally would with like a cotton backing, because if you pull too tight on this, if it's pulled really tight and you stitch it down and then you take it off the frame and release it, it actually squashes back together and it really messes up your quilt. Like I've done it before and it's not very nice. Okay, so that's kind of like the half lotus that I'm going to be doing. And I know it's kind of a bit of a busy fabric, isn't it? But the way that I kind of designed the quilting is I'm hoping I'm going to be able to kind of hop, skip through this fairly quickly. I am still running a full-time quilt studio here, you know? I got to get through my own personal projects fairly fast. So I'd like to do the center one next. Then I'm going to come in with the 8. And I decided to change ruler sizes because it's a little bit of a shorter run from this spot to this spot. And I still wanted to keep like a nice fat sort of like leaf shape. And I also added a second one. So I got this mark way down here and I think it might be a little bit low. And the reason it might be a little low is when I come back, I don't want to stitch into my bottom. Oh, it's right on the edge. Okay, it's a little bit low. So I'm just going to adjust for that. And then I had some pretty fun ideas for the black parts of this quilt because these are kind of just like pretty plain. And I like that, but I came up with this really neat idea that I'm going to try. So stick around if you want to see that next. Well, after I finish this, I am quilting this part in the Vegas gold thread color of Glide. That's the color I'm using. And I think it's going to look just great on this quilt. Let's take a look. No, you probably can't really see that, but it looks awesome. It looks good. I'm happy with that. I didn't start by ditching because I kind of wanted to just see if this part was actually going to work. So I'm going to come back in and ditch this in a bit. All right. Oh, I forgot to do the center one. That's okay. I can work up to it. Oh, that is right on the edge there. Gotta be careful. Also, if you're gonna choose a blanket for backing too, another good rule of thumb is to choose a backing color, like a blanket color, that matches your quilt top as best as possible. You might have noticed I chose like this tan sort of color. And that's because some of the nappier ones, like the ones that have like a more fluff on them, for lack of a better term, they can pull through your quilt. You know, they're not really made for this. And I've had a lot of them pull through. So I try not to pick like a black blanket or something like that, or like a really dark color if I've got a light color top. I try to pick something that's gonna blend in a little bit. Just a little tip. Yeah, so see, my mark is like right there. I'm only a 1/4 inch off, so I gotta go 1/4 inch up from that mark. See, and sometimes no matter how much planning you put into a quilt, sometimes you have to just change gears just a little bit. Speaking of that, though, I'm wondering if I should ditch this now. As you can see, I'm kind of getting a little bit of excess fabric up there. So, and like that's another thing with these blankets, you can get excess fabric because you don't have everything pulled as tight. Like it definitely is quite a bit trickier than working with like a fireside backing, which is what I wish I had, but I don't. I'm just going to drop this one more notch. There we go. Just so I can ditch this properly. I'm not too concerned coming out of the ditch too badly here. There we go. It's just my quilt. Well, my daughter's quilt. I did also make this into a pattern. It's on my website for free if anybody wants it. I didn't get it tested or anything like that, though, eh? Like, it's just, it's nothing fancy. But I did write it up in case anybody wanted to give it a shot. So I'm just going to ditch around these guys here. Oops. Kind of shifty. Come along here, and I'm going to ditch here too. Now these little triangles, I'm filling in pretty straightforwardly. The color I have chosen here, this Vegas gold color, is basically the same color as this fabric right here. So I'm just going to be putting in a couple simple lines, was my plan. Let's try a 1/2 inch line. That looks like it's going right down the center. And I think I'll do a 1/4 inch line too, just for funsies. That's kind of what I had planned. And you know what, that looks fine. I think, move you right here a little bit. An adjustment. As soon as the light changes a little bit, I'll turn this light off and you'll see a little bit better. The storm's kind of passing. It's just kind of a quick one. So you'll notice what I didn't do is I didn't stay stitch my own quilt, because why would I do that? And I had one heck of a time basting it down. Like, I definitely regretted that. I always love it when my clients do that, and then I didn't even do it for myself. It's funny how we do that, eh? So get all these lines in here. All right, I'll turn the light off. It's starting to get a bit brighter. Little 1/2 inch line. Again, I'm trying not to over quilt this quilt. My kid wants it to be a little snuggly. And a 1/4 inch line. Yep, that'll work. I'm not the greatest of piecers. I'm not terrible though. I was actually pretty impressed at how good my points ended up on this particular quilt, because I am not, like I said, the best piecer. Basically what I'm saying, I have quite a bit of excess fabric right here, so it's time to deal with that, I think, before I keep advancing. And it's just because of this blanket and that I don't have a ton of tension on it. I need that light, sorry guys. It's always harder to find that ditch too. You notice I kind of wobbled there, but that's okay. They're not always perfect. Yeah, I don't like how this is looking. It all looks the same on the couch though, eh? She'll never be able to know. She'll never know. gonna look great. So see, I've got a little bit of excess here, but I'm gonna be doing, I think, just like a blunt piano key in this area, and that'll just eat all that up in no time. That's why I wanted to stitch this down. This would probably be a little bit easier if I grabbed a different ruler, only because see, I can't quite get to the end here, and it's just because of the curve to this ruler. I love it, it's my favorite, but sometimes you just need a different one. So this is the quilted pineapple one. It's actually not that much better. Here we go. Yeah, I was struggling getting this basted down, but that's okay. I'm so excited. So my next Quilters Challenge video is coming out on May 1st. So that's a couple weeks away. And I'm so excited for it. I just finished it up. And oh my goodness, it's pretty cool. I'm really excited. So make sure you're subscribed so you can see that video if you're new here. Because I did something that I've never done before. It was completely new to me. So, I mean, there's a bunch of people that might be able to make fun of me. So it's always a good time. I'm going to grab that wrong ruler again. I had too many rulers on my quilt. Does anybody else do that? Like, you got like 7 rulers. I got them all over here. All my tools all laid out. And then you can never find the one you're looking for. Classic. I'm not sure about the spacing of these lines. I think it's just because this is the top one and I'm kind of struggling with excess fabric right now. The lines aren't perfectly spaced. I mean, they're still not bad. I think maybe I'm critiquing myself a bit too much. And I'll let that go. Once I get the more dense quilting in this black and stuff, it'll be fine. Oops, there we go. And also these red snappers are kind of giving me a bit of a trouble. The blanket that I bought, again, it's all I could find, eh? So the blanket I bought is just barely big enough. Like, I'm prepared for a catastrophe at the bottom. I am a little bit. That might actually happen. I might run out of backing. I don't think so. But if I do, I'll figure it out. I'm not gonna think too far ahead on that. I'll just deal with it if it happens. If it does happen, there are some videos on YouTube. I watch them. Like if you're just quilting a normal quilt with a normal backing, like a cotton backing, there are ways that you can add it on while you're on the machine still. And I've done it by following some of the tutorials because it happens to the best of us. But it's just best to avoid that situation if possible. I did it not that long ago. I mounted a quilt that had too small of a backing. I thought I could make it work, and I couldn't. Sometimes you get, like when you've been doing stuff for a really long time, and it doesn't even matter like what kind of skill we're talking about. You've been doing something for a while, and you're feeling like a pro, and then you just make such a rookie mistake. Oh yeah, it sucks. But I used one of the videos. I don't know what it is. I'll see if I can find it maybe afterwards and post it. Just like in the community page on YouTube here. I'll see if I can post it there just in case anybody's ever looking for it. Okay, so I'm getting close to my clamps here and you can see how loose this is, eh? So I'm just gonna get my yardstick. Mine's not a yardstick. Susan Smith has a yardstick. I got a broken piece of trim that I put underneath here to kind of prop these up. So it's on top of my take-up, or my sort of holding bar. I'm not sure what that bar is called. And the belly bar. So it's just kind of holding this up so I can let my plate ruler plate go underneath it. But yeah, see, I don't need any fancy tools. A broken piece of trim works, or a yardstick, also not fancy. Okay. I'm almost done this boring part. I say it's a boring part anyway. I did put a lot of effort into trying to press my seams every which way so that my ditching would be easier, but honestly, I'm not sure if it was worth all that effort. Okay, so I'm going to go backwards this way. Just gonna go right here for a minute. I have to just go on that side so I can get in there. Jeepers. It's tight. Tight, tight, tight. Oh yeah, see, that is looking much, much better now. Okay. We're gonna be fine. I was a little bit nervous about the blanket on this custom quilt. Usually when I use a blanket, I'm usually doing like a pantograph or an edge to edge. I don't normally custom quilt with a blanket on the back. Obviously not because it can't be done, but just because it is that much more trickier, you just have to pay a little bit more attention. So I wasn't super duper sure. I do have a video on YouTube about using a blanket backing with some more tips on it. If you wanted to watch that, it's on my channel somewhere. See, like my points aren't bad, eh? Not too bad. I was pretty happy. See, it's pretty good for me, honestly. On point is a little trickier too. At least I found it a little trickier. And as you can see, I didn't get my points. I don't have that ½ inch that I should have. There's a little excess here. ½ inch that I should have at this top. So I'm going to lose my points when I add a binding to it. But I got no one to blame but myself. And also the fact that I didn't want to add a border because I was lazy. Ooh. Little wobble there. Yeah, I didn't want to add a border because I was feeling lazy, but also, I don't know. Are quilts more modern with or without borders? Like, sometimes I like borders, sometimes I don't. It's probably my least favorite part about piecing a quilt is adding on borders. I get kind of annoyed because I feel like I've already finished the quilt when I've got like all of the blocks or whatever pieced together already. And then just adding a border just feels like, you know, like just like the aftermath, like doing the dishes after dinner sort of thing, you know? Like, you just want to sit and enjoy your meal and like let it digest, but no, you have to get up and do dishes. That sucks. My kids are starting to move out, so I have to do a lot more dishes nowadays. Oh, we're here. I'm back. Okay, so let's turn those lights back off. Okay, so we're back here. What was I going to do? I think maybe I'll carry on. I still have to ditch this line that runs along here, but I could finish the petals here, come back, and then do all of this line work at the same time. That's what we'll do. Okay, come back down to here and grab my curved rulers. Get these ones out of the way. Okay, if you're new here, I am using the Quilted Pineapple 10 and the Quilted Pineapple 8 for these parts. And I have pre-marked this quilt, even though one of the marks is a little questionable. This one right here. It's just a little bit low, so I'm going a ½ inch higher. So to go a ½ inch higher than that, I'm actually going to put my ruler right on it instead of, you know, accounting for that. So I'm just going to put my ruler on that mark and then come down, and that should land me Yeah, right where I want to be. Oh, sorry, that might have been loud. I'm excited. Yay. Okay, so I got to go see. It's about a 1/4 inch higher than the mark there. And then this one, I like where it is. So if you do decide to make this quilt, I told you the rulers that I'm using, and then the marks, I marked down 3 inches and down 3 inches. So I should have marked down 3 inches and down 2.5 inches is what I should have marked here. But I just did 3 and 3. And then I'm using the 10 for the center pedal as well. I did test all of these. In my design course, I talk about, oh, I missed my mark a bit. I talk about auditioning rulers and how to do that. So I did spend quite a bit of time with my rulers this morning trying to figure out which ones were gonna work the best. Okay, so, and there's my mark, 1/2 inch up. To mark these marks, I used a chalk pencil today, a mechanical chalk pencil. I think I used a Fons and Porter one. It might have been my, I've got Soline and Fons and Porter chalk mechanical pencils that I use for marking dark fabrics. And I marked the dark fabric here because you couldn't see any marks on the inside because there's too much color variation in here. So I just used a chalk pencil for that part. I'm going to move over just a couple stitches. One of the reasons why I wasn't so concerned about, oh, and I used the blue marker for the center mark, as you might have noticed. Maybe you hadn't. Anyhow, so what was I saying? Oh, right. One of the reasons why I wasn't super duper concerned about stitching this gold thread on the black is I can just use a quick black marker and just cover up those stitches if I was so inclined. I'm probably not. But I could just use a marker, like a permanent marker of some sort, to cover those up. I use a micron pen usually. This is the one I use. Actually, maybe I'll find it for you. I think I have it right here. Yeah, here it is. So I would just use this pen. This is a micron. Ooh, focus. So permanent marker. So that's what I use if I needed to. But like I said, I probably won't on this particular quilt. And then back to the 10. I love this ruler. The inside concave convex. Now, stitching in the convex though is more difficult, or the concave, sorry. The concave is more difficult. Like going on the inside curve is a little more difficult. It kind of looks a little funny to hit your mark. You know, you don't quite, going up this way, you can see a 1/4 inch pretty easily. At least I can, you know? And then when you come back on the inside, you have to kind of judge it a little bit more because you go like down like this and it looks funny. It just doesn't look right. Oh, you can't quite see it in the video. Sorry. I'll show you when I get here. So when you're coming on the inside and you're trying to hit this little tiny blue mark right here, you got to be like quite a little bit ways away from it to kind of make it hit right. It's not, it just looks different. The angle is different, and so it makes it a little bit more tough. But once you get like the hang of it, it's super simple. And these aren't like I'm not hitting my mark every single time today. Like it's not perfect, but you are never going to notice that. Never ever. And so even though I've got this big fluffy blanket on the back, I do also have batting. It's one of the questions I get asked, or like everybody seems to ask a lot on the forums and things like that, is if you're using a minky backing, see, you can see how like it seems odd that you would hold your ruler so you can see so much of this space that you're not planning to stitch, but that somehow, because of the concave, it doesn't actually land in that area. A little bit. See what I mean though? It's just so close. It's just it's an awkward angle. Oh, anyways, I was talking about batting and the blanket. So yeah, so even though like I see people asking about minky backing all the time and whether or not they should add batting to it. And this question confuses me a little bit because like a quilt technically I think isn't a quilt unless it has 3 layers. Like I think that's like the definition of a quilt. You know, if we're gonna be all policey and stuff. So with that in mind, I would always say, yeah, of course it needs batting inside of it. And then as a long armor, I would also say, of course it needs batting inside of it because that's where your stitches hide. I find like when I do stitch something with just 2 layers, the stitches kind of like lay on the fabric a lot more. They don't sink in and get hidden and have like that really great sort of texture to it, you know? So from a long arming aspect, I would always say, yes, of course, you need batting. And then third, I'm Canadian, so of course you need batting. Like you're gonna freeze to death. Like what are you thinking? But I think that question is mostly asked by people who live in like more milder climates, you know? So I don't really know. I don't know from that aspect, you know, like if you sleep hot or you live in like a very hot or humid area, maybe having like more of a blanket is a better idea. I'm not really sure. But those are my thoughts on whether or not you should use batting with minky or fuzzy backings. I think yes, in my opinion. All right, so I'm just going to stitch up to the top here. Excellent. All right, so I'm going to go across. You like, okay, I just saw somebody say they like this design. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty simple design. I think it looks so nice because I am switching back and forth between these rulers. Because if I was using just this one, this second petal would be so much slimmer and it wouldn't look as full. So it wouldn't quite be giving that lotus effect, which is what I'm going for. I'm going for a lotus. Because if you're new here, this is Asian styled fabrics, and my daughter and I were talking, you know, like what about a lotus? That fits really good. So that's what we decided on. She helped me sort of come up with some ideas. There I am stitching into that black again. That's okay. Oh, right, I forgot to do this part. That's okay. So let's just do that. And then I'm going to show you the next part of this design, so you don't have to be here all day like I'm going to. And I'll show you how I'm going to stitch this black area, because I think I've got a pretty cool idea. At least I think it's a pretty cool idea. It might not work though. Like we might be picking out some stitches. If it sucks, then we'll change course. But I think I got a good one. So I'm just stitching a 1/2 inch and then a 1/4 inch line just for some variety. And then a ditch back this way. I'm not entirely certain how I'm going to stitch this space. I want to stitch it in a cream thread, but I don't really want to stitch this ditch back and forth a whole bunch. So I might come through and just do a bunch of broken threads. But I might, like if I'm I'm doing this for YouTube right now, right? Like, because I want to show you, so I might do it right away. But if I was just doing this whole quilt right now, then I would probably change threads at the very end of the quilt. Like, I'd quilt everything in the gold right now, and I'd fill in these blacks, get to the bottom of the quilt, come back and quilt these little triangles. And the reason for that is because it's just such a small space. You know, like, I don't feel bad sort of leaving it, if that makes sense. You know, like, it's not even as big as my fist. So I would roll that up. And I have a pretty small machine. I'm working on a Handy Quilter Avante here. So I only have 15 inches of usable space when I'm quilting with my ruler plate. And I've got really skinny bars too. So that's one of the reasons why I switch back and forth through thread color. Like, you can kind of see my tiny little bar. Like, I can wrap my fingers all the way around it. So when the quilt rolls up on it, if I don't have a quilted piece, it's just more likely to get all bunchy on a smaller bar. So if you're working on a smaller machine and you wonder why you can't do all of these tricks, that's probably why. Another one that doesn't really work for me with my smaller machine is using those big magnet bars that some people use. I can't really use those. They don't work on my machine. Just because my bars aren't big enough to grab onto that magnet with all that extra fabric on there. Come down here. There and cross. Now, don't worry if you are on the live and this is taking way too long or whatever, you got to run out to go do some other stuff. This video will be posted onto my YouTube page later on. It kind of auto-uploads, so I don't really know how long that takes after the quilting's done. It might be fast, might be slow. It always says processing on my end. I mentioned at the beginning of the live that if I drop you, it's just because my internet kind of is a little bit iffy out here. And I'll be back shortly, so just a heads up, because the storm's kicking up again. Somebody's watching and eating lunch? Nice. What's for lunch? Anything good? I had spaghetti for breakfast. I always eat leftovers for breakfast. I don't know, like, I've never been like a big breakfast food person. I kind of just like, I like leftovers for breakfast. I don't know. So like spaghetti was today, but like I'll eat anything. I'll eat meatloaf for breakfast. Yeah. I cook a lot of Asian food. I eat a lot of Asian food. That's probably my favorite. So I got a little bit of extra fabric. If you can notice here, I think if I turn this light off, oh, you can't really see. It's just a little bit. It's not too much. And when this quilt gets washed, it's gonna be fine. Ah, leftover Caesar salad. Nice. I love Caesar salad. So tasty. I just kind of looking at the pizza for breakfast. No Asian. Yuck. Come on. That's fair. Fair. Some people don't like it. I live in British Columbia, Canada, and we've got a lot of Asian influence here in my area. There's a lot of Japanese settlers, and so there's quite a bit of heritage in that sense around here. So maybe that's why. Don't know. All right. Making progress. Making progress. Ruler work's pretty slow, eh? Takes a long time to do. I love ruler work though, and I don't think it's because it takes long. Like, I wouldn't call myself an impatient person, but I don't have a ton of patience for a lot of things. But ruler work is one of the ones I do, and I think it's because I love the results that you get with ruler work. You know, you just kind of get those beautiful crisp lines, and it appeals to me so much. If you've been watching my videos for a bit, like I even use a ruler to do my continuous curve design that most people do freehand, and it's just because, I mean, addicted's the wrong word, but I am just really, really drawn to that crispness, that perfect quilting. I think I'd probably be a pretty good candidate for computerized quilting, honestly. Only because I just love the look of those perfect circles and those perfect lines. But I think that computerized quilting, like computerized custom quilting, is a little bit underrated. Like the idea of trying to calculate something on a computer to deal with the excess fabric that I'm dealing with right now just boggles my mind. Like, I don't know how they could do that. Like, looking at the computer and like understanding how that would work, like I think that's just a skill in its own, you know, in my opinion. I just I like the feeling. Like, I'm definitely old school when it comes to, like, I like the feeling of this, and this is definitely takes skill and practice, but I just think that the computerized quilting does too. I think it's just a little underrated. I do have a second machine in my studio. It's not running right now, that does have a computer on it. It's old though, like it's an older Handy Quilter Fusion. But it totally works. Like it stitches all the modern pantos and everything. But I've never tried like programming it or anything like that. Okay, so I've got one more space to go. Oh, I should probably go back and finish that one that I missed back there too. That was and then we're gonna change thread color and show you what my weird plan is. Oh, I need my yardstick too. Okay. Down, up. Okay. Let's just go back to the other side, and because I actually missed a piece. But let's take a look at this too. All right, so here's kind of how it's looking right now. I think it looks pretty good. You know, we debated for quite a while putting another little lotus in this area, and now that I'm seeing it, I kind of like that idea. What do you guys think? Should I do the blunt piano keys, or should I do a second little lotus? I don't know. So let me know what you guys think. I'm kind of debating that. I just got to finish off this one, and then I'll change thread colors. If I did a second little lotus, I would probably be able to get away with doing that in this gold color, eh? Then I wouldn't have to switch to like a cream thread. I might give that a shot before we move on too far. So like I always plan my quilts when I'm doing a custom quilt. I always plan them like beginning to end, but I'm always open to changes. You have to be a little bit open, you know? I try not to question my plan too much, but I'm willing to give things a try. That's how we innovate, hey? Okay, so now I'm going to show you my plan. Okay, so on this quilt, in case you didn't see it at the beginning, there's actually 3 fabrics. There's this red one, there's this orange one, and then there's this blue one. Okay, but all the blocks are all the same, and I'm quilting them all the same right here. But what I was thinking is I'm gonna do like some bumps like this, like a ribbon from a fair. Like think about like American fairs, you know how they have those like ribbons, and then a dangle piece here. And what I'm thinking about is that it'll look like this is like a lantern, like an Asian lantern. So that's what I was thinking about. So I'm gonna need to choose a reddish thread for that. I didn't choose this, usually I choose my threads, but I kind of got slow this morning. So I got this pink color, or maybe I should go for more of a red color. And I wanted to do it in a colored thread, just to like, yeah, see, oh, I like the red better. Okay, that was easy. Okay, but I don't know if the red's a great idea. I might have to come back and do it in black. I don't know. So I'm gonna give it this red a try. But I just realized I should probably ditch this first, honestly. Yeah, sorry folks, I gotta ditch that first because I am dealing with some excess fabric and like this blanket backing. So I think I should ditch this first just to give myself a nice smooth area. And then I have to remember that I gotta do this one up here. You like the red? I like the red too, yeah. So I gotta do this one up here and that one will be in blue. So why don't we just try the blue first so I can show you so you can get out of here if you need to. So the blue color is this color. And I'm going to choose probably a pretty dark blue, eh? Because I kind of want it to match for the blue. You think gold? You still think I should do the gold? Hi, Chilliwack. That's nice. I'm in the boundary between the Okanagan and the Kootenays. That's where I'm at. That blue's pretty dark. Okay, I got this blue too. This blue is kind of brighter. And I know that black's probably the choice, or gold. I kind of like the darker blue. Okay. And then there's the gold there. Gold or blue. I have to try the colored thread. I know it's not conventional, but I know that every time I try to do a weird thread, it doesn't always work. Like it usually is a fail, but I'm going to give it a shot again because for some reason I never seem to learn. Sometimes it works, but the majority of the time I really don't like it. And I think one of the reasons I don't like it is because that contrast, you have to be really good. Like you have to be pretty accurate with your quilting. Whoops, it broke. The thread broke, not my needle. Okay, so I've got this blue thread in here and I'm quilting this space above. And then I'll switch to the gold. Oh, do you think I could do this on camera? I don't know. There we go. Yay. Okay. Let's go back over here. Oh, it's so dark. I'm actually going to go over here and do it. It's so much brighter on this side. I've got the windows on this side of the room, so I can see a lot better over here. So I'm going to test it here and see. Now, I want to make sure that I land right there. So I'm actually going to start right there. This will make this a little bit easier. Pull out my threads. Just a couple stay stitches to keep me in place. And I think I'm going to freehand this. I did measure it out when I was doing my marking. And if I do like 2-inch bumps, I can get about 3 in. But they got to bump pretty high. But I don't want to go too far. 1, 2. I think it needs to be 3. All right. Moment of truth. Let's go. There's 3. Then I'm going to come in like this. That's my thought. Okay. Then teardrop. 2, 3, 4. That's okay. I did this one a little bit short. All right, let's see. What do we think? I think I like it. I need to do 3. I needed this one to be bigger to like balance it out, but I think I'm pretty happy with that. I think that now we just got to look at the color, because this is like a dark blue, so it's not really going to give us that same effect, right, as that bright red is going to. I don't know. I think I'm going to go for it. I don't know. Now I'm questioning it. I think I'm not going to get the effect unless I use that red. I think I have to do it in the red, because this dark blue is barely, like you can barely see it with the light on, you know? You can barely see it. Maybe I should just go for it. Thanks for go switch that laundry. I saw that. Okay. It looks good. I think I should just go for it with the color thread. I think maybe I should. Okay, fine. Let's just go for it. Now I just got to figure out a system to start here. I never start with a thread path in mind. That's just a waste of time. You gotta figure it out as you go. No, I'm doing them shorter again. Okay, I'm gonna go try and do them shorter then. It seems to be more natural for me to do them this size than to try and stretch them. Teardrop. All right. Let's see if I can just stitch back along this line. Then I'll just move a little faster. But I do want to start in the middle because I do like the idea. Well, maybe I can do it. Let's try it. Maybe I'm just not giving myself enough credit. Dummy. Whenever I'm doing something new, it always takes a little bit extra time. Get the spacing right. Again, this is my quilt, so I'm not really too concerned about that very much. Oh, it's my daughter's quilt. If you watched any of my lives, you'll know, like, you know, it takes a minute to get your spacing figured out. That actually is going to go a lot quicker if I do it this way. Still like the idea of starting right here, though. So let's start right here. Try again. 1, 2, 3, and a 4 is a bit smaller. This is definitely going to be way more obvious when I get to the red, if I make mistakes. So yeah, I do call this design like fair ribbons. Like that's kind of what I did. I did it in a quilt last summer for my ghost quilting series. It was one of the designs that I did. And I was looking at that quilt last night. And I was like, oh, what if I gave that a shot? I had a look, okay? See, that one was really big. Maybe that could be like kind of like the style here. Have a smaller one and build to bigger ones. All right. Ribbon. Okay. This is going to be harder to do when I get to the inside of the quilt because I won't be able to run along that fast. But I will be able to work. 1, 2, nope. I wonder. Hey, okay. I have an idea. 2, 4, teardrop, 1. I am kind of thinking about thread path just a little bit now that I've kind of got this design in my brain. And the problem is that I come down one way and I come all the way back. But I kind of got to get a way to get all the way back here. So what if I put in another line? You know? I'm trying to be cognizant and not over quilt this quilt. That's the issue, isn't it? Because what I need to do is I need to put a second line in now. Because if I put a second line in, then we'll be able to, sorry. Yeah, so if I put that second line in, like right here, then I'll be able to come back to this spot and carry on throughout the quilt, which would make it a lot faster. So let's see how it looks. That's the best part. We can always take it out. And my kid's probably going to have this quilt for quite a while, so she can just kind of deal with it. Yeah, that looks just fine. Yeah, we're going to add that second line in there. I also talked about with my daughter, I was like, what if we put like a little gem down here right at this point too? Like when it's all quilted, we'll just put like a little gem right there. Oh, I think it'll be so pretty. So that's my plan too. I think I actually like this design more with another line in it. But I'm kind of a tough one for that. Like I always like a design with one more extra line. Like actually, it's kind of bad. If I made the bumps bigger, it wouldn't be bad, but I still think it's not too much quilting. I think it's going to be fine. So this one I did much bigger. I'm not going to pick it out though, because, well, I'm just not. The bigger is better. Like looking at it from like stepping back for a sec here, I'll bring you back. I think I do like the bigger one better, but I already did so many of them with the smaller ones because I have more control over the smaller ones. So there's the bigger Certa. So there's only 3 bumps on this side. There's almost 4 on this side. And then I started doing 4 bumps on both sides. Let's get this thread out of there. So I did 4 bumps on both sides. So I think this one looks a bit better, but this one's easier to keep everything even. Like I think I'm going to have more success by keeping everything even. Smaller quilting things in a larger scale is always more difficult. It just is. It's like drawing a little circle with a pencil, right? You can draw a little circle with a pencil, but draw a big circle with a pencil, it's so much harder. And it's the same with quilting. It's easier to quilt small than it is to quilt big. So it's just something to think about. So yeah, I think I'm going to go with this smaller one. So we're just going to be able to leave everything in there. Put my dog out. Okay, now. Okay, so now the red thread. Oh boy. Oh no, I gotta do the gold first. I'm gonna stitch this down with the gold first, and then we'll do the red. Still a real quilt, and I don't want to mess it up. If it was a demo piece, maybe. But it's not. I think the storm is passing. Oh, I keep saying that. I'm just kidding. I'm looking the other direction, and it's on the other side now. It's swirling. Okay, so I'm just changing my thread to a gold thread. Back to the gold. There it is. Oh, man. Oh, I forgot. I've got a smaller needle in. Oh, right. I was quilting with 100-weight thread the other day, and I changed my needle to a smaller needle. And so I'm like wondering why my knots aren't going through, and it's because I forgot I still have this needle in here. That's okay. Obviously, it's not affecting my quilting. So the needle I've got in here is a 16 instead of, usually I was quilt with an 18. Yeah, I was doing 16 with 100-weight thread. I don't know if that was exactly what I should have done. I probably could have gone a little smaller, but it was fine. I think it worked out really good. Okay. So I'm just going to roll the quilt up a little bit. We see the color of that thread. You can see quite a few little pokies here. I don't know if you can see them. I can see them with my naked eye. And that is from the nappy blanket. That is not anything else. That's from the nappy blanket. It is pulling up a little bit. Remember we talked about that? And that was going to happen no matter what color thread I was going to choose. It was going to happen with the black as well. But I chose this blanket because if it pulls up in this area, that's not a big deal. If I had a black blanket, the black dots on here would look way worse. Okay, so I'm just going to roll up not too far, about there. Oh, and I got to make this not quite as tight as I normally would because, again, I've got that blanket there. Now I'm going to take a couple minutes and see. Let's take a look at the side here. See this, how much it's pulled in, right? So we have to be careful not to put too much tension on this. Just manipulate the fabric and not really yank on it too much. So if I add a little bit of tension, it straightens out quite a bit. But left to its own, it would really pull in a lot. But if I pull it really hard, like I normally would have quite a bit more tension here, then when I released it, it would jump back a lot. This way, it's only going to jump back a little bit. Smooth this out. I'll be honest, like I found this black fabric in my stash, and I don't know if it's actually cotton. I think it actually might be broadcloth. I was mentioning earlier, I don't have a fabric store here, so I kind of just got to use what we can find. And that's what I found. So I used it. I'm not much of a fabric snob. Well, that's not entirely true, I guess, because I was hoarding these fabrics for a little bit. This quilt is from a video I did earlier. I think it was last week. I think it was last week. I posted a video about making this quilt, and it was a challenge, and the challenge was use your favorite fabric. My favorite fabric was this red one up here, and I've always coveted these beautiful Asian fabrics with these gold details. And so when the challenge came out that we had to use our favorite fabric, I'm not going to lie, I balked a little bit. I was a little apprehensive about that whole idea. So I'm just loosening these off a bit. There's not much tension here. Like, it's just enough to like hold it, basically. It's not a ton of tension. When I move away, they kind of drop a little bit more than anything. All right, so this side is definitely a little bit more pulley than the other one. So just gonna be careful with this. Maybe I'll just put on a giant binding. I'm definitely more like cavalier with my own quilts, as you can, I don't know if you could tell, we're definitely more cavalier with my own quilts. It's not that I don't care. I just, I don't know, I just don't feel the need to have the same sort of, I don't know, it's not attention to detail either. I'm not sure what it is. But when you quilt for other people, you know, like there's a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of pressure to make sure that, you know, you're doing a really good job and like a proper job. Like people pay quite a bit of money to have their quilts quilted. And you have to make sure that, you know, you're providing the right amount of quality for what people are paying for. So maybe when I get to quilt my own quilts, I don't feel that pressure. So I can just feel a little bit more comfortable. I don't know. So I'm not going to put you through watching me quilt all of the things I already quilted. I'm just going to stitch this ditch, and then I'll stitch the ribbon here in the red thread to hopefully see what it looks like, because if I have to pick it all out, then it'll be a while. Because if the red thread kind of fails, that means I have to pick out this blue thread too. Or quilt the whole thing with the blue thread. I guess I could do that too. But we're just going to go for the fact, like, it's not going to fail. I kind of liked somebody's suggestion about the gold thread, and I think the gold thread would have been really pretty throughout. Yeah, I probably should have just done that. But I really wanted to try the colors. Sometimes you have to be a little bit bold, right? We're going to try new things. And like the more new things that you try, especially now, like I was saying, I'm a little bit more cavalier on my own quilts. Like this is the perfect time to try something. You know, like my kid, it'll be fine. And she'll just have to wait for me to make her another quilt. I think the last quilt I made her was like 15 years ago. So it was a while ago. I think she was 5. She was in kindergarten. It was like the first quilt I ever made was for her, like real quilts. And she helped me pick all the fabrics. She was 5, right? She was so cute. And so we're picking out all the fabrics for these like applique hearts I was putting on it. And then I finally got all the hearts all picked out and everything was laid out on the floor, and I called her in to like take a look at it. And she stood there with her sassy little self, 5 years old, and she's like, yeah, it's really cute, but I'm not sure about these colors. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Because like we spent forever picking, I was so frustrated with a 5-year-old snarky little kid. Oh my goodness. So anyway, she's been a lot more cordial this time around. Stitched off a little bit there. Okay. I'm almost there. So normally I wouldn't normally stitch all this ditch just to show you this, but that backing is just kind of giving me a little bit of extra trouble. So I'm just making sure everything's stitched before I stitch this area out. Stick. Okay. Let's get the red thread. I do kind of stitch left to right, left to right most often. My machine seems to be okay with right to left stitching most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time. I know lots of people do struggle with that. And I'm just going to make sure this is the right red, because I'm kind of thinking it's too bright. This is more tomato. It's hard to see, but yeah, oh, it's even called tomato. Yeah, I don't think that's the right color. I think I want something a little bit more rich, something a little more, what's the word, like rich, I guess. Oh yeah, that's way better. That matches way. See, there it is. It's not quite as stark, it's more tonal. That's my word. Okay, let's give this a shot. I'm almost out of my gold too. I've got another one. So anyways, but that kid of mine, she just finished doing some upgrading at the college here. She is getting ready to hopefully head out to college. Oh, I got through the whole that time. Just getting ready to head out to college here. And then my youngest one, I got 2 daughters. I got another one. The other one's actually already at college. So yes, all right. Now, thinking that my binding's going to be here. You know what? I'm just going to pretend that this is it. I know it's a 1/4 inch, but I'm kind of like losing a little bit anyways. So I'm just going to pretend. Yeah, I'm not going to care. I didn't care about a border anyways, so I'm not going to worry too much about the binding, if that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense. And I'm also going to make sure that, oh, there we go. I can, yeah. Okay, stay stitched. So teardrop, 1, 2, 3, 4, back, and then back. Okay. Whew, yeah, I am. I'm holding my breath. All right. Let's see how this goes. Get the teardrop in first. Oh, I ended up with 5. That's okay. That's fine. Freehand quilting. Woohoo! The color is definitely a lot more visible. Okay. Okay. Let's try again. Okay, so in the last, when I was doing the upper one, I kind of skipped this last one and put it in at the end. And I think I might do that again. Just so that one always ends right here, if that makes sense. Okay. 2, 3, 4. Teardrop. Oh, that's not the best. That's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last one. Whew. It's just when you do this colored thread, you gotta be on point. I'm gonna turn the light on after. We'll look at it. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up thread and I think I'm gonna roll it back so we can take a look at it with the red triangle too, because I think that's gonna make or break this whole idea. Okay. What do we think? Do I like it? Oof. It's not, you know, it's not as in the face as I thought it would be. Here, you're just in the way. Yeah? Do we love this or not? I think I like it. I think I'm happy with it, and I think it's going to add a little bit more dimension. I'm concerned that this blue's too dark. You know, like in the light, like this is so bright compared to this blue is so dark. And here's the blue fabric. So I kind of think I need to switch the blue out for a brighter blue just to get the full effect. Because if I do, I think I'll probably do this one with the gold just because it's orange and there's a lot of gold in it. I guess I could do green, but I think it'll be best with the gold. So I might switch this out. Let me know what you think. But I think we should probably end the live here. And I'll post, don't worry, I'm going to post photos because I'm still not sure what I'm doing in these guys. Like I said, I'm going to come back and finish these when the whole quilt's done. So yeah. Let me know what you think. I will be posting, yeah, lighter blue. I think a lighter blue too. I really do think I need a lighter blue up here. But I'll post photos when I'm done, but it's probably going to be a couple days. Just a heads up because I got other stuff I'm working on. All right. Okay, well, thanks so much for being here. I really enjoyed quilting today. And I mean, obviously, I'm not done today. I'm going to be here for a while more. But it's a pretty big quilt. I'll turn you around again. It's a pretty big quilt. So it's going to take a little while. But once I get into the groove, it's going to be good. All right, thanks so much for watching. And I will see you guys another time. Oh, and make sure to check out my course that I talked about, the modern, no, well, I have modern quilting with rulers, but also my design course is out there just to learn how I design. And also, if you want to buy me a coffee, there is a link here too. Okay, thanks so much for watching.